Good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the morning dump. It's Tuesday, August 4th. I'm your host, Jose Galison, and this is the kitty of the day, Miss Wren here, the old lady of the house, the old queen. It's been a while since she's got on the camera, but our first generation chocolate tortie, we're up to 3 generations now, but she's a sweet mama. We've retired her from baby making, but we still got her here. Sweet lady, made us a lot of pretty babies and raised them really nice to make them sweet kitties. But with that, if you like seeing my hot takes Monday through Friday, typically around 11 a.m. Eastern, when we actually make it and when we make it on time, or if you just like seeing the kitty of the day, then be sure, like this chocolate tortie Wren, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit that bell for notifications. That way you can see when we're live and when we drop new videos. We'll see you in the show.
Beautiful thing right now.
Rise and shine, it's a beautiful day. I am alright.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to white light.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
It's crazy evil.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a good one. We have a few days to catch up on, so a little bit of thicker foreign policy section today, but we have plenty to go through. As always, we start the show off with Icebreaker Content, the fun, the funny, the Gen Pop slop. Also addressing one of you guys from a comment from a previous episode. Figured that's appropriate place to do that. And then we will pop on over to foreign policy, see what's going on over there. As I warned you, going to be a little bit thicker than normal since I missed the last 2 dumps. And then we will get into the first titled segment of the day, Kirk's Epstein handlers, a thread on mapping, kind of a new revelation there, doing a lot of the work, and kind of maybe I don't know how much we'll dig into that bookmark folder, but kind of catching up on some of the Kirk stuff, seeing what's going on there. And to finish off the show, we will finish off our dig into the secret history of Polymarket, wrapping it all up with a Napsterization of everything, getting into that, kind of bring it all into a nice little bow, and probably a little bit of a recap of everything went through as well, of a nice video that'll kind of hold your hand through all of that for those who maybe didn't catch some of the earlier parts or just need a little reminder, myself included. But with that, we're going to go through, we have plenty to go through. We'll go ahead and get into our Icebreaker content now. Although I do like to give a little bit of reminder what the show is every time for newcomers, and you never know if you want to for those who didn't catch it the first time, or maybe second, third time, whatever. But what the show is, I call this an info dump format. That's what I call it, kind of throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall. Sometimes this is stuff that, that is processed information. Most of the time, it's stuff that's kind of newer stuff that we're going through together for the first time. It's kind of like a podcaster doing his homework, essentially. And so, don't expect a super high production value here. You get what you get. But it's mostly supposed to be a live interactive experience. And although most of you guys don't show up for the live experience, and I do accommodate you guys, and I leave timestamps in the video/podcast description. That way you guys can kind of jump around from topic to topic. And whenever you start hearing chat banter, which is kind of weird if you're not there live or if you're listening on audio, you can just move on past. I keep the chat banter towards the end of each segment to make it easier for you. And now if you are here for the live experience, I do like to remind you guys to try to give everyone at least one good morning, and and then after that you get to catch my interest or catch my wall. Did you guys just see that? It was kind of cute. They had both the kitties right there. It was Ren, and it was who's the younger kitty? Sorry, I guess it's a good point to mention. I do have the attention of a squirrel. So if you were trying to catch my attention in the live chat, it's not really that hard to do. But yeah, I had two of the chocolate torties behind me a second ago. We had the newest, the youngest, and then we had Ren. So we had Ren. Why can't I think of her name right now? Katniss, and Ren. So grandma and grandbaby, you got three generations of them here. So I thought it was cute. They were playing behind me. I guess unless you had that context, you're like, what the fuck are you rambling on about? Sorry, I'm a sentimental fool. But with that, let's go ahead and get into icebreaker content. Let's jump right into it. Like I said, I do have something to address with you guys, but I guess we'll kind of meander our way into it. But I do want to let you guys know, kind of just starting off, kind of a cold open. And this has kind of been all the talk. They have found a way. They're coming for my job. I'm going to have to start.
No clear location. No wine at all. No phone number. No visible operations. It seems abnormal, doesn't it? And then she proceeds to insult the reporter asking about these things, asking her to explain it to the people. And on top.
All right, there's no reason to listen to this whole clip. It's way too long. What's being said doesn't even fucking matter, really. I don't even know what is she even talking about? I don't know if anyone could tell you what they're talking about in this clip. Literally all you see is the nether region staring right at you, which I gotta be honest, I actually absolutely hate this. This is not at all me trying to be some moral Puritan, like I'm holier than thou, but I guess it's just the girl dad in me. I gotta be real. Whoever this chick is, she looks way too young. It freaks me out. You're like, to me, I see this and like, this could be 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It could be anywhere from 15 to 25. So I'm like, this looks way too young, freaks me. I don't like it. Also, it is kind of gross. Like, I don't know, the idea that like, oh, here's my hoo-ha, here's my takes. Doesn't do it for me, but I guess whatever. At least you get a viral moment out of it. Although I don't know if anyone could actually tell you what this girl's name is. But yeah, so that seems to be the new trend. We'll see if that takes over my job. Although maybe I may have to adapt. I've actually already been offered such an opportunity. Previous guest of this show, I actually just uploaded the other day. This is going to perfectly segue into something I want to address with one of you guys. I just recently, when I left you guys, I left you for a couple days on the dump, and what I do try to typically drop on the paywalled episodes whenever I do leave you guys, seems a strategic time to do so. And I did drop the 8th part of me and Jacob's West Memphis 3 series on, I believe, Friday. And that was kind of when the heat of that viral moment with that broad showing her hoo-ha. And Bazillion, or Basil, I don't know why I said Bazillion. Bazillion Thoughts is Twitter account. But Basil of the Basil and Benny show, we've had him on before. Delightful fella. He told me, he said, "Hi, can I make a formatting suggestion?" Sharing the clip we just played. In response to me, sharing on Twitter that podcast that we did. And I joked with it. I said I do be rocking basketball shorts commando under there. I think you may be onto something. And you know what? I do. For those, I guess, for Tower Gang fans, way back when, this was actually, Clint sold me. This is one of the things, if Clint changed my life on anything, it was going commando in short. It's so freeing. It's just amazing. Like, especially where I'm such a little thick boy. Like I'm like 5'5". I usually go between 190 to 220, really depending on how fat or how muscular I am, or combination of the two. But yeah, so shorts are really the game. But like for me, is somebody being like, compact and very wide. I talked about this recently. I've kind of expressed how I'd love it if the 3/4 would become vogue for men, although it's just straight up gay, the 3/4 pant, because I always struggle with pants being too tight and being too long. That's the thing I have as a thick boy. But also, one thing people don't talk about is we struggle with underwear. I got a big old donk, and between my thighs and my ass, underwear is oppressive. It really is. And so I'm just, it's very freeing. It's nice. I will say, I actually don't typically do the basketball shorts thing, because that is a little bit indecent. That's like wearing like a sheer white shirt and no bra. Like, what are you doing? I'm not that kind of whore. I'm not that kind of guy. But now what I will say, like I've been doing a lot of sweat shorts these days. Sweat shorts commando, nobody knows the difference. And I mean, it does. I will say it is pleasing to the eye, but it's not like that inappropriate like level of print where you're like, what are you doing, dude? Like, come on, I can see the veins. So it just kind of gives you maybe a little bit more pronounced bulge, but you can't kind of make out the form to where we're an inappropriate level. But either way, he messaged me, said let's workshop it in my DMs, and I do gotta say, he actually did. I don't think he would be any way conflicted me saying that, because he true to his word, he legitimately did DM me, and I was conflicted. I'm not gonna lie. He even mentioned there was another tweet where he said something about how, his Twitter income, because he's got a pretty good size account, so he makes money off it. Kind of a wink and a nod to like, this is for the boys. I'm not gonna lie. There was a part of me I didn't respond. There was a part of me that was like, in my head it was like, wait, how much? Like how much we offer it here? But then at that point you're just a whore haggling a price. So I'm like, no, don't even enter that territory. So either way, I didn't do it. But times are getting rough over here in the podcast world. I do need the moolahs. The kids are starving. So Moose Knuckles may make an appearance here soon. So, but I am not to the point to where I'm sending, Moose Knuckles to individual men yet for money. I have not quite gotten to that level. We'll see where things go. But to kind of tie these two things together, tie in the old camel toe into addressing something one of you guys brought up. One of you guys on the YouTube, though, not on the Twitter, it commented on you. One of you guys I've noticed, I see you in the chat quite a bit. I don't know if you're in there yet. We'll see when I go through the chat here in a moment. But Alien Big Cat 23 responding to some comments we made on the West Memphis 3 episode. Now, I will say, for those who have been following that series, we're probably going to at some point do another Q&A episode, because I think we did at least one of those at one point. So we'll probably back up and do another Q&A at some point, because I get people. I will say, if you do want that, try to keep it to YouTube for the comments, because people will, I've had people tag us on Twitter and stuff for thoughts on it, but we will probably address questions on all different platforms, but primarily YouTube at some point, as we did already. But either way, I just saw one that caught my eye, and knowing it's one of you guys in the dump, I figured I'd take the time to address it, especially because as I was going through preparing for today's show, I found something kind of perfectly addressed the question. So, without further ado, it's from Alien Big Cat 23, which any of you guys that hang out over on YouTube frequently may have noticed them in the chat over here in the dump. But it says, in reference clearly to some talk we had about Aleister Crowley, says, totally wrong. Crowley never committed pedophilia. Nobody ever said that about him. Do what thou wilt doesn't mean do what you like. Total slander of a dead man. Thought you had more sense, Jose. Careful. There may be a backlash, which, I mean, that lasts a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, that came off as weird. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean, but like, I don't know if you meant it to come off it's almost like weirdly like a veiled threat, but like, okay, whatever. I guess maybe I could understand how it maybe was meant in a different way. Also commenting, nor was Crowley a Satanist. Get a grip unless you have proof otherwise, which I doubt 100%. Now, I don't know if I necessarily claimed Crowley was a Satanist or if it was Jacob. I figure I'll address the latter point first. It feels like that's the one that makes is the easiest to kind of address quickly. This is like, this is Satanist, is that Satanism? It's very much a colloquialism. When I say Satanist, Satanism, it's kind of a general class of, I guess, beliefs. And I generally, from my understanding of Crowley's belief system, I generally don't have a problem with it. Now, I by no means claim expertise. I have not quite even gone. I've not even really dug a whole. I've gone a lot of rabbit holes on Crowley, but I by no means can say I am like heavily informed. Like I've never read like a book. I've not read any of. For example, I can't think of his name. William Ramsey. I haven't read any of William Ramsey's stuff on it. On Crowley. I mean, I've gone in quite a few deep rabbit holes into his belief systems. But that's the extent of it. So I'm not claiming, I'm open to being like I'm somehow wrong, but I think I've kind of dug in enough to get kind of the gist of his belief system. And I guess my understanding when it comes to his belief system is it is kind of, I generally have no problem grouping it in Satanism. I mean, I mean, I guess this kind of opens a whole larger discussion of what even is Satanism, but it's, I mean, we get into weird territory because, I mean, there's LaVeyan Satanism, it's just whatever. I think people generally get what you mean. We're almost being semantic generally if we're sure, maybe you have some decent argument why Crowley's belief system should not be characterized as Satanism, but a lot of these end up devolving to like he's not literally worshiping Satan, and Satan was like, okay, are they worshiping a paradigm of evil? Are they worshiping some other entity that's supposed to represent evil? Are they representing? I mean, whatever. Either way, beside the point. That's kind of a whatever. I don't know. It seems like a weird semantic thing to be hung up on. Now, the pedophilia. Now, this kind of comes into, once again, kind of in a similar of why I don't necessarily have a problem with calling it Satanism. I also don't necessarily have a problem with the idea of thinking perhaps there's something to the insinuations of pedophilia when it comes into Crowley. And this is just from my general vague understanding of what his belief system was. This kind of like this duality as above, so below. This comes in morality. This kind of comes into, kind of good and bad. So the idea of like kind of, that many people reference to, because he actually does, there's some stuff that kind of, let's be real, kind of pretty much on the nose kind of says exactly that. But a lot of people try to find some other ways to understand it. But either way, here we go. Once again, here's RJ Morrow, someone we bring up frequently on this show. I figured I'd take a moment to dig into one of his posts. He's pulling here from Blood on the Altar, The Secret History of the World's Most Dangerous Secret Society by Greg Heimbichner and I, the Chicken Hawk by Simon Dovey. But this is one of his pieces, one of his tweets he typically does where he shares a few different pieces of literature, excerpts from them in reference to some larger point, here being Aleister Crowley and the accusations of pedophilia. So he says, Aleister Crowley's Book of the Law calls for blood, the fresh blood of a child, and frames a male child of perfect innocence as the ideal victim. So this parallels later allegations against Abraxas Institute, where members were accused of child trafficking and satanic ritual abuse. So yeah, this is where you get into like the whole Abraxas too. If you get into like what even Abraxas even is, the entity. This gets into a lot of the duality sort of stuff and this idea, like I was kind of alluding to, like a lot of people think it's like this forward-thinking thing of like, well, you can't have the good without the bad, and so they're equal forces, and so it's almost as if you should be both, It just transcends this idea of black magic or white magic, and you're kind of above, you're this other thing. It's this sort of idea. You're doing magic. But anyways, let's dig through this a little bit. Now, I don't know if we'll really get into the Abraxas stuff here, connecting that thing. But here it says the blood brotherhood of Baphomet. It says, let blood flow to my name, in quote there. It says, the first contradiction of both the OTO and our culture is an apparent affirmation of life melded with a deep fascination with blood. In its official material, the OTO explains and demands blood sacrifice over and over. In its main scripture, the blood of the law, it is written. So here you go. Here's supposedly a straight quote. Maybe this is a misquote. I'm open to hearing. I mean, not that I'm going to make this like an ongoing segment necessarily, but Alien Big Cat or anyone out there, I mean, if there's some sort of expert in Aleister Crowley who takes the, kind of the alternative, view that I tend to take generally, I'd be more than open to bring him on because, like I've said, I'm not necessarily an expert. And if there's information that, that's truthful that leads me otherwise, I'm all for it. But goddamn, my cat just scratched me on accident. I need to clip her nails. Says the Book of the Law, it is written, worship me with fire and blood. Let blood flow to my name. Sacrifice cattle, little and big, after a child. Kill and torture. Spare not. Be upon them. The best blood is of the moon. Monthly. Then the fresh blood of a child. Then of enemies. So even the moon monthly, the best blood of the moon, I think that's even almost implying period blood. So this burn of this makes cakes and eat unto me. Also these shall breed lust and power of lust in you at the eating thereof. So, I mean, I guess you could say this is some symbolic something or other. Here's another excerpt. It says, the magnus opus of Aleister Crowley and consequently of the OTO is the weighty tome Magic, currently sold in mainstream bookstore chains. In this family Bible-sized work, the chapter titled Of the Bloody Sacrifice and of Matters Cognate states that the animals should therefore be killed within the circle or the triangle, as the case may be, so that its energy cannot escape, which, by the way, two triangles in a circle, that is your standard pentagram people think of in witchcraft, where they're doing seances and shit. Anyways, not to get off topic. For the highest spiritual working, one must accordingly choose that victim which contains the greatest and purest force. A male child of perfect innocence and high intelligence is the most satisfactory and suitable victim. The method of killing, however, is practically uniform. The animal should be stabbed to the heart or its throat severed in either case by the knife. All other methods of killing are less efficacious, even in the case of crucifixion. Death is given by stabbing. So let's see if there's anything worthwhile. If this just goes, let's not dig into the Abrasic stuff. That's too much of an aside there. But with that, let's dig into the chat, see what you guys got to say. I think that's enough. I hope that was good for you, Alien Big Cat. Like I said, if you have something to contribute that, clearly points otherwise, or some sort of expert that you'd recommend for the show, I'm all ears. But with that, let's go ahead and get into the chat. Say hello. If you're popping in here, hit that like button. Help a brother out. Good morning, Mustache. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Tom33, saying, I see a Candace thumbnail. Could be done with this coot already. Got every now and then. It is what it is. It was that we're going to dig through some Epstein stuff. Actually, there's quite a bit of news. And to come to think of it, we got the Max Miller stuff. I'm not going through all that today. We should have a pretty dense week. I got plenty of stuff to dig through this week, but this was just the most pressing thing. There's a connection between there's an Epstein thread connecting the two, and there's just kind of more gay shit they've been doing, and I don't know. So I figure we dig in that a little bit. So I hope you guys like it. Good morning, Fire Pixie. Good morning. Good morning. Another morning to Fire Pixie, because she hit me up on both platforms, hooking a brother up. Appreciate it. Good morning, Daz, saying good evening to all of you. We're glad to have you here too, Mustache. It's been a while since I've been this early for a live. Tom33 calling me ugly, just on time. Good morning. Oh, no, he's saying Q calling me ugly. Oh, he's saying the comment from earlier that we were going to address as Q. That would be funny if it was Q calling me ugly. Good morning, Bug Fights. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Marnimax. Is sup, camel toe lovers. Big fan, to be very clear. The thing that creeped me out was how young she looked. And then also just kind of the grossness of it. It's just very yeah, sure, for some hot MILF, I could at least be like, okay, nice. Like kind of like not be like revolted by it, but I'd still kind of be like, what are we doing here? Come on. Like, it's just, it's just throwing it too much. It's too hard, What else we got? Good morning, Hotep. Good morning. Good morning. So surprise, there's no echo. I don't know what you're referring to. Oh, you're talking about the chick. I get it. Oh, I think I get it. Her talking with her legs open. Clever. He's to mustache says this chick is definitely taking your job. I need to go back to old Pitts days. That's right. It used to be because I used to stand, and I used to always do this thing when I was standing because it was kind of just a nice stretch for the old chest and the back. Anyways, so yeah, need to go back to the old Pitts. I used to do that in Tower Gang because I used to be more of a standing podcaster and do this move. So the chicks liked that. They really dug the Pitts. Daz is out of here. Bummer. Good morning, Lance Ripa says camel toe journalism at its finest. Yep. Good morning. Hey, say what now? Good morning. Good morning. Aggressively agreeing, saying compression shorts a game changer. I disagree. No, I wear I usually wear like boxer briefs, like a looser material, but I wear tighter material when I go to the gym all the time. I do not like it. It's compression shorts are still too restrictive. Free balling is the way to go. Sorry, it is what it is. What else we got? Good morning, Alien Big Cat. I'm looking forward to see what you got to say in the chat. Good morning. Good morning. What else? Good morning, Oxtail says good morning. Hello, beautiful gay nerds. God bless you all. Mustaches, Spiritual might invite you to dinner if you play your cards right. I know, right? But like, here's the thing. I know that's not the road to go down. Like, although who knows? Maybe you got controlled out there. But I know Basil is renowned for He is kind of like one of the ones who's made it like a big thing. The whole like getting his back blown out at the Founders Fund barbecue. Like he's the one who kind of popularized the whole sex-lectic. So I struggle to believe that that's the proper path to go down. If I'm going to be selling my my naughty photos to homos, it should probably be I should be going down a different path of people. Like if I'm trying to go down some sort of networking tree, that's the wrong tree to go down. If I want to get to Peter Thiel, I would guess maybe there's a lot of controlled op though. He is playing both sides in a lot of places, so perhaps I'm wrong. I may be completely off here. I guess I should just send them to all the boys, shouldn't I? What else we got? Here's my says. I'd say 100% Crowley is a Satanist. Do what thou will is Luciferian, so satanic in the philosophy, semantics. Now, I will say in that sense, I actually would push back on that because I've many people follow the show long enough know I technically, if I'm going to claim some sort of overarching, I guess, moral-ish philosophy, it would probably be technically, I guess, like an egoism of sorts. I don't necessarily believe in objective morality or anything like that. I'm like in a certain sense a Hoppian in the sense that like I do generally believe people should abide by the NAP. That's the proper way to go about it, but it's not like an objective thing, I don't think, personally. So anyways, so in a certain sense, I guess what I believe kind of is do what thou will, but I've just always kind of thought the like Luciferian satanic version of that, the Crowleyan version, some of the excesses, the degenerate version of that, the idea that then means like libertinism, or that then means like debauchery, or we're going to do, I mean, not that you shouldn't do drugs or do have fun and do things, but the idea that you then need to devolve into physical pleasures, like that doesn't necessarily follow to me. If anything, that's like to take, go back to Hoppe, that's kind of like a high time preference behavior, like just which I guess in some sense it may not be if you end up being a Peter Thiel or somebody like that. But generally speaking, even by that perspective, it's not everything is about money. I would even think like in a certain sense, I think the Thiels of the world probably feel pretty goddamn hollow. So not everything comes down to money in that sense when it comes to value. So, in a certain sense, I do believe in the do what thou will, but like, it's not in like a base version of like do what feels good in the moment, I guess is I mean, it still requires further thinking, I guess is what I would say. I definitely am not trying to in any way encourage any sort of, base level thinking of just like go with what feels good. Although that tends to be how that's claimed. So it is semantics, I guess. But I would say I think Crowley falls into the conception of that I'm portraying. Like he very much does lean into the idea of like, let's do debauchery thing, let's do the most awful thing and the most good thing. So duality, whatever. Let me see. Oxtail says, I read an autobiography of Crowley. He wasn't a serial pedophile or anything like that, but he was most definitely a weird sex magician who had cults and would sodomize men. Also, his poems are vile. I'm just like, I mean, let's be real. Are we not basically already at that place at that point? Like, yeah, he wasn't a serial. Like, I don't think there's necessarily any proof out there, but like, if there was some proof that came out tomorrow that was like Crowley confirmed, banged a kid, it was like I would be blown away. Anybody out there that was like, oh, it's like, yeah, like that's like kind of seems like exactly what that was angling at, sorta. If you really think about it. What else we got there? Good morning, user Chadhead. Good morning, OG Matzo Balls. Good morning. Oh, Balian Big Hot Law is saying he eventually rejected Book of Law. Okay, so maybe there's a clarifier there. Maybe his belief system at one point was kind of obviously, let's be real, probably talking about that sort of thing, and then it didn't. So, okay, I mean, maybe you're right. Like I said, open to having somebody or... good morning, Shifty Eyes Shady. Good morning. Saying, what's up, homies? Good morning, Nate Dogg. Saying, Max Miller or Mac Miller? Max Miller. There's a political shenanigans afoot right now on the right side of things. Kind of ironic in the aftermath of the whole Graham Plattner stuff. They have their own issue with an absolutely awful Zionist, which, don't get me wrong, I want to go full bore and be like, fuck this guy. But we probably will cover that later this week. And I gotta be real, kind of surface value, don't get me wrong. he's retarded and fuck him big time. But like, also, I'm kind of open to the idea that maybe he's being, kind of fucked over. I don't know. I mean, it's not as open and shut as a lot of people are acting, and I also think people were ridiculous with the Graham Plattner thing too, and just kind of immediately conceding to the mob. Although I will say the Max Miller thing looks, to me, it kind of looks, at least at face value, quite a bit worse than the whole Plattner thing. So, especially all those retarded Republicans who were being like, "Oh, you guys are trying to put a rapist in office." It's like, really? Like, Donald Trump's kind of your dude. You got Max Miller with some pretty crazy accusations. I don't know, whatever. If we're like looking at legit accusations, it looks like at face value, the Max Miller accusations seem to be somewhat more substantive and than the. Anyways, I'm rambling. Good morning, Gottis. Good morning. What else we got? Tom says, if you're going to sell your butt, sell it to the richest gays, 100%. Good morning, Daddy Facts. There's a lot of different versions of Jew lies. Good morning. Some of matzo balls, I've seen multiple people on social media showing these news thoughts are just repeating what they've said in short videos word for word. So are you saying the thoughts are repeating it, or that people are repeating what the thoughts are saying? Like, because I could totally believe, I guess I could really believe either, but I find it more believable that they're literally just finding like viral, Twitter posts or something, and then just reading them basically word for word. Maybe running them through like an AI filter of like, hey, can you change the wording to be more of a Valley Girl dialectic or something like that, and just reading it. That's probably exactly what they're doing. Shifty Eyes telling you guys don't do heroin. I would recommend also doing heroin. What else we got here? Let's keep going. Tom33 says, that's like saying Stalin wasn't technically a communist. Who gives a fuck? Even if it's right, there's a bigger thing to focus on. I don't know if you're talking about, I'm assuming you're maybe a little bit behind. I'm assuming you refer to the Satanists distinction, which even then I think that applies even more so. I would actually think that's kind of perfect. Like, that is, I guess, to some degree, sort of like saying Stalin wasn't technically a communist, but yeah, words are sloppy. I don't know. I don't just say like, it's kind of a good example. I guess I'm a little bit confused what your point was there. Like, yeah, you're gonna make some colloquial distinctions. So at some point, so that's just where I close my window of what I think is fair to consider Satanism, I guess. Anyways, I'm getting off. Sorry, I just want to make sure I address anything you said. Sorry, I mixed you. For some reason, I mixed Tom and I mixed Alien Big Cat up there for a second. That was what the confusion was there. All right. Anyways, let's get into foreign policy. I wouldn't be surprised if I have more comments refer to address from Alien Pet Cat or somebody. Like I said, you could Alien. Feel free, everyone. You guys tag me on Twitter if you guys have stuff. Reminder: you guys do help produce the show when you tag me and stuff like that. So. Helps out a lot. But anyways, sorry, I'm getting off field now. Let's get into foreign policy, and then we'll get back on the chat, see what you guys got to say. Got a little bit of catch up to do. Last I left you, I remember we were in this weird territory. We were like, a bunch of shit popped off, super unclear what the fuck was even really happening. So I think things will get a little bit clearer in some of the coverage from today, and then kind of let you know where we're at now. But I think last there was these like a flurry of attacks from this person, that group, this, that. And we kind of seemed it was like the root of the whole back and forth was some sort of attack on a Saudi oil infrastructure that they then, for some reason, then decided that the Iraqi coalition groups did. And so then they killed almost, I think like around 20-ish of those Iraqi coalition people or whatever. Was it the PMU, the Popular Mobilization Units, I believe they're called. So that's where we left off. And then that kind of started things back up with Iran, and it's just kind of confusing. You're like, what is even going on here? Because you got like attacks in Saudi Arabia that now lead to attacks in Iraq that then lead to attacks in Iran, and you're like. Which is even more confusing because I remember reading at the time, you're like, Saudi has other things going on. If the concern is an infrastructure drone attack, like they are there's shit going on with them in Yemen. So, which is also, Yemen's also sort of been kind of, they're not involved in the Iran thing. We had a treaty with them. They sort of pulled themselves, back from any sort of Iran anything or other. This is a separate issue, a separate beef, the whole Saudi thing. And they're perfectly situated and have every incentive to want to attack Saudi infrastructure, and they have in the past done so with drones. So very confusing why we then make an assumption that this Iran, although they have in the past made the leap from Iranian forces or whatever, since there's some proxy. So perhaps they're making a loose proxy argument, but this is the issue when we have so many different conflicts going on at once, all these different actors, all these different conflicts merging into one. Lines get mixed, things get confusing. But Iraq says there's no evidence that drone attack was launched from its territory, which, like, even at the time, I was kind of like confused because you're like, what? Like, that makes no sense. Like, if a drone attack happened in Saudi Arabia, given, at the time that it happened, especially since there was sort of this weird, tenuous sort of ceasefire-ish, position going on. Missiles weren't flying back and forth. Seems a little weird. Seems a little weird to jump there. I would have definitely jumped to immediately, that's probably, it's probably the Houthis, Seems the most likely culprit. Well, a spokesman for Iraqi Prime Minister Ali al-Zaidi told Rada on Thursday there's no evidence a drone attack against Saudi infrastructure was launched from Iraqi territory, claimed those used to justify major U.S. Saudi strikes in Iraq. Sabah al-Numan said that despite the lack of evidence, Iraq was looking into the claims, which they're pretty upset about. We talked about this the other day. They killed because it's confusing when it comes to these their military over there in Iraq. It's kind of a coalition of different forces. Is the popular the PMUs or whatever. So there's Sunnis, there's Shiites. It's a whole different group. So with that, it sometimes leads to some differences of opinions as we see this whole Iran thing. Some of those groups have been actually gotten involved in the hostilities. And so I guess they took it upon them to assume they were involved in the hostilities with this drone attack and attack them. So it's even further complicated by the situation of Iraq kind of like, yo, what the fuck? Like, you guys have bases here. We're pretty normalized our relations. Like, why didn't you just at least come to us first so we could deal with this problem if you thought there was within our own military and this a thing that we've already condemned, these groups saying don't do this. What the fuck? The Iraqi National Security Council said on Wednesday that U.S. Saudi strikes came as the Iraqi government was communicating with the concerned parties to verify and address Saudi Arabia's claims regarding the targeting of Saudi territories. Iraqi Prime Minister Ali al-Zaidi, who recently visited Trump in Washington, canceled a planned trip to Saudi Arabia over the attacks. The attacks killed at least... it's PMF. I was messing up. It's not PMU. The attacks killed at least 20 members of the Popular Mobilization Forces, the PMF, a coalition of mostly Shia militias formed in 2014 to fight ISIS, and 4 members of Iran's IRGC, who, according to Iranian media, were working as security guards in Karbala, a holy city for Shia Muslims, as pilgrims traveling there for the upcoming Arba'in holiday. A report from Reuters on Thursday said that Saudi Arabia assessed that Yemen's Ansar Allah, also known as the Houthis, attacked Saudi territory from Iraq. So now they're saying, I guess the claim is that, this is just also confusing. There's no verification of the claim. Ansar Allah did take credit for the attacks, but the group gave no indication the strikes were launched from Iraq. So even further, Ansar Allah, the Houthis, i.e. the Houthis, did take credit for these attacks. And so now they're on this weird, tenuous, I guess they did it from Iraq. Although didn't say anything about that. Maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't, but... seems quite the jump to go from that to that, but okay. Moving on, so it seems that clears things up a little bit. Moving on, things upped it a little bit. There became this over the weekend, things are gonna get super fucking bad. We're gonna go super hard. We got we're in that cycle of the Trump rhetoric, Iran shtick here. Oh, fuck, I accidentally just exited it. Oh, no, I accidentally just exited out of the one I just wanted to read. Oh, damn it. Give me 1 second. I do not want to miss that. Fuck. Whatever. It gives you a second. You guys can look at the homepage. You can show how I pull these. I accidentally clicked out the wrong one. Here is the article. Here it is, antiwar.com. You can see their homepage. Now, you can go over here to previous days to go see previous days, which I do. You bring up the calendar, since this is from yesterday. Go over the 3rd. I meant to pull up. What piece was I trying to pull up? Here we go. Saudi MBS urges Trump to prioritize dialogue in U.S.-Iran war. Sorry for the aside there. My bad. Production got all fuckered. Anyways, back to where I was. Over the weekend, it kind of became this, we're up in the rhetoric. We're getting to, goddamn ads. We're up in the rhetoric. We're back to destroying civilizations, this sort of language, to where like everyone is like, is this dude talking about nukes? What the fuck is going on here? That's where we got to over the weekend. Things did seem to slow down. Things seemed to stop after all, whatever the fuck that was that we just went into, all those shenanigans. Well, we got this like, well, it's going to be the worst thing ever. Just you watch, and you guys are going to be blown away. I guess a little bit of spoiler here. The worst thing ever does not end up happening. But let's read a little bit of this into the worst thing ever part of the coverage here. So Saudi Arabia's crown prince spoke to Trump over the deepening crisis between Washington and Tehran. So this is kind of the reports of like even more so like, oh, this is legit. He really meant it, which maybe he did. I don't know. But we've been through this multiple times now. So Saudi Arabia's crown prince literally flew to Washington, is the story we're being told, urged a renewed push for dialogue over further military escalation hours before the United States president halted his latest attacks on Iran. So we had this like, he halted his attacks. I guess I didn't realize that there was going to, I thought it was just going to go more into what the actual threats here, but he halted his attacks. So, but part of this, is that it was so serious that Prince Mohammed bin Salman, he immediately flew over there and it's like day of, dropped some plans, spoke to Trump and like, hey, we're going to fix it. We're not doing this. Like, we don't want to go back to war. So there's a lot of things to take from this. I don't know the truthfulness of it all. I mean, it is even interesting they'd be floating this out, at least even signaling that Saudi Arabia doesn't want any more smoke. So that's good. It's always kind of confusing where they're at and all this, but it kind of feels like a put on. But even more to all of this, we got Trump lashing out at Iranian leadership because part of all of this, part of the whole reason why we didn't end up doing the worst thing ever was once again more alluding to some sort of negotiation. And surprise, surprise, it doesn't quite look like there was any sort of negotiation. So we have Trump lashing out at Iranian leadership over calling him out over that. So Trump on Monday attacked Iranian leadership in a post on Truth Social after Tehran denied his claim that talks with the U.S. were taking place. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Baghi said that the only negotiations underway were between Iran and Oman, but the situation in the Strait of Hormuz wouldn't change unless the U.S. lifts the blockade of Iranian ports. In his post, Trump vowed the blockade would continue. So to back up, just to be clear, we had this whole weekend of, I don't know what words he's using specifically, but worst thing ever, everyone's gonna die, and then nothing changes whatsoever. And then come Monday it goes, well, the Saudi Arabian, crown prince came and assured me that he really wanted me to not do it. And then we got Iran just contacted me about negotiations. So we're not going to do it. So that's where we're at. But this is what Trump had to say about them saying bullshit. He says, Iranian leadership is unbelievably duplicitous. They asked for a meeting. Some would say beg. Talks begin with more scheduled in the immediate future. And they say openly and proudly that they're not having any discussions, that nothing is being talked about, and they're only dealing with Oman, Trump wrote. They then go on to give their usual blather and saying the Strait of Hormuz will be operated powerfully by them when it is already controlled by the United States and our blockade, or as some say, the United States wall of steel. I've never heard anyone say that. Nothing gets through to Iran unless we want to, and nothing will get through unless a deal or total surrender is accomplished, he added. Trump concluded the post by claiming that whether Iran wants to admit it or not, we are, in fact, talking of a solution to a problem that they have caused for decades. It is very simple. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. The president told reporters later in the day that Iran was facing its last chance for a deal before decapitation. So that's the language, decapitation. Over the weekend, Trump said he decides to hold off on an attack that would have inflicted military terror. That's a quote there. So he's using military terror on Iran over claims that Tehran suggested the U.S. back down and wanted talks, claims that were quickly rejected by Iranian officials. The climb down from the U.S. president follows a pattern of him threatening major escalations against Iran, such as massive strikes on its civilian infrastructure, then backing down while claiming a deal is close, only for Iranian officials to deny it. The threat of escalation and more U.S. strikes on Iran is still on the table as the U.S. continues enforcing the blockade. CENTCOM said on Monday, since the blockade was reimposed, its forces have redirected 35 commercial vessels, disabled 2, and boarded 2. And during all of this, we got evidence that the U.S. dropped a 2,000-pound bomb on a home in Iran, killing a 2-year-old and his parents. So we got video and photo evidence of the aftermath of the U.S. strike. The New York Times reported this on Sunday. This was launched on July 30th, so a handful of days ago. This killed Qaisar Jafari, who was identified by Iranian media as a taxi driver. So a real high-value target, obviously. Totally makes sense to drop a 2,000-pound bomb on him. And his wife, Zara, and their 2-year-old son, Sina. 2 other children from the family survived the strike and were rescued from the rubble. It also displaced 20 households. So don't expect them to take any responsibility for that anytime soon. They still haven't taken responsibility for the strike on the elementary school in February 28th, still acting like, oh, we'll never really know, when there's been all sorts of reports that we fucking really, really, really know. So, and I think they probably do know. But with that, and if they don't know, that in and of itself would be an indictment of their whole process. It's not quite as high-tech as they think then, is it? Continuing on, we got talk of moving out of the Middle East over in Iraq. I'm not quite entirely sure what to make of it, but it's worth mentioning. We got U.S. begins pre-planned withdrawal from Iraq's Kurdistan region. The pre-planned in quotes, because there's kind of questions there. Now there was, I guess kind of long story short, I'm not going to read this whole piece. You guys could dig this on your own. Go over to antiwar.com, but apparently there were actually steps in place, for leaving of it. But it's kind of one of those things that there's from my understanding, there's always like these Middle East bases that there's like certain areas where they talk about, they're going to leave, and they always push this. We've had these over years, every so this whatever, we only have Iraq till whatever 20 whatever, and then that day it'll come along and they'll go, just kidding, we're going to up it for another 5, 4, 3, 2, whatever. We'll do it again next year. We'll vote on the we're push. And so it's kind of in this like, it keeps. So I don't know even what the specific thing is here, but looks like they're actually packing up and getting the fuck out. So that's a positive development. Now the thing here becomes like, is this the result of the stuff going on with Iran? I don't know if we'll ever really know, but either way, this is a positive development that we got withdrawals coming out from the Kurdistan region of Iraq. But either way, positive development, any sort of backing off of the Middle East, but kind of entered a odd paradigm with the Iran thing where it's kind of like, something's got to give, and maybe this is it. So hopefully we see more news of this going forward. And unfortunately, we have more news of this. We got U.S. launching an airstrike on Somalia for the 77th time. So we're up to 77. So here's your casual reminder. They are still bombing over in Somalia in record numbers. Still well on track to break the record for this year, the record they broke last year, which they had broken from their previous term. So just kind of Trump just continually breaking his records over and over again in bombings in Somalia, a place most people don't even realize that we're at war with. And then another one of Trump's thingies he put together. You guys may remember this whole board of peace. Sounds very Trumpian, right? Sounds like only sort of thing Trump would come up with. Well, apparently they've reached an agreement with the Board of Peace. Another one of these, this is news over the course of a few days, so I'll go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a spoiler. We have future news coming here in a moment that clarifies this a little bit. But we did have, what was this? This was on Thursday. On Thursday, we got these news coming out, reports saying that Hamas and other Palestinians agreed to a document setting out a plan for the disarmament in Gaza. So this, which we had talked about before, we had, Hamas came out and we were kind of essentially floating, more like being willing to disarm, also essentially depoliticizing, I believe, Hamas, passing over leadership, essentially really kind of trying to force the hand. And so it seems like this may have been a result of this. We got the Board of Peace saying, "Oh, well, we got these people agreeing to a document." Well, between this and after supposedly coming to an agreement to disarm, of course they up the violence. We had on Thursday, on that very same day, an 8-year-old and an 18-month-old were killed. How many people died that day? 6 Palestinians killed that day, and then we had over the weekend, we had 17 killed. So despite the agreement of the disarmament plan, so you never know what that means. Does that not bode well? Is that just them trying to get in some last hits? This seems to be pretty common tact for them here. But as I said, yay, they're going to disarm, and we're going to, we're moving forward in this deal, and with the disarmament, also, it's supposed to be, Israel, leaving them leaving the region. Well, surprise, surprise, Israel changed the terms of the deal. The thing they seem to always do. Trump's board of peace walks back key part of Gaza deal after Netanyahu meeting. The so-called Board of Peace, the U.S.-led body created to oversee Trump's Gaza plan, has walked a key part of the Hamas disarmament agreement after its representatives met with Netanyahu. When the deal was initially announced, Trump and the BOP's top envoy for Gaza, Bulgarian politician Nikolai Mladenov, said that Hamas's disarmament would happen as Israeli troops withdraw from Gaza. Withdrawal must move in lockstep with decommissioning, Mladenov wrote on X. But after Mladenov met with Netanyahu in Jerusalem on Monday, the BOP said that Israel's withdrawal would happen only after the decommissioning of Hamas's weapons, and blamed the understanding that the two would happen simultaneously on inaccurate reports, despite Mladenov's earlier statement. Contrary to inaccurate reports, we note that the withdrawal of the IDF beyond the yellow line will take place only once decommissioning is complete, as Hamas committed to the mediators. This applies to light weapons, heavy weapons, and the tunnels alike. So just to rephrase that, back up a little bit. So essentially we have a disarmament of Hamas. This is part of this deal going forward. We're not going to have a militarized Hamas. They're going to depoliticize, demilitarize, essentially disappear into the wind. And as part of their demilitarization deal from the beginning, way back when, which they don't even think they even agreed to demilitarize at first, but they said if they were going to, it would be in lockstep with Israel. It would be in accordance with the withdrawal. They've said before multiple times they were okay with Hamas no longer existing as any sort of entity as long as IDF is gone, and there is a path to a statehood of some sort of sovereignty for the people of Gaza. I totally forgot where the fuck I was going with that. Sorry, so many things to fall when it comes to these deals. Anyways, so trying to track. Totally lost the thread. Sorry, there's so many different things with these complicated fucking deals. Withdraw the audio. Anyway, so yeah, they're doing it in lockstep. It was what they were supposed to do, and obviously now what they're saying is, no, we will leave. The IDF will leave once you have disarmed. The IDF, Israel, the group who has initially started, said there was going to be a yellow line with, I believe, 53%, that has then now creeped up to 70%. They've said there's been basically every cabinet member, I'm not sure if Netanyahu's on record saying that, but basically damn near every of the prominent evil cabinet members has stated explicitly they will not be leaving any place they are occupying, whether that be Gaza, Syria, Lebanon, anywhere. But yeah, Hamas is supposed to just go, yeah, sure, we'll drop all our weapons, no longer be a political entity within this region, and we'll just take it on your word, your old honor, old scout's honor, you guys will leave, right? Of course, that's fucking stupid. So that's where we're at now. So it doesn't look quite good, does it? I guess let's finish this, see what else we got here. See if there's some other details worthwhile digging into. Drop site news reporter Scahill, who has Hamas sources involved in negotiations, said that BOP's post is filled with lies about what Hamas agreed to, and it's part of a long-standing pattern. When Palestinian negotiators make agreements, that Israelis then demand new terms, and the U.S. and its lackeys pretend like these new edicts are part of the deal and then blame Hamas, which is just basically a carbon copy of what happened Recently, you guys may remember with the whole, Iran MOU. We were going to have a deal, a path to a deal or whatever, and it got fucked up big time by Israel's crusades over in Lebanon. That was part of the deal from the jump. Basically everybody said, yep, part of the deal. And then after making the deal, they go, wait, what? That's not part of the deal. So tale as old as time here. But with that, let's go and get out of here. Let's get a foreign policy. Let's roll a chat, checking you guys. And then we will get into Kirk's Epstein handlers, take a little bit of John Mappin, and then finish our read through of Whitney Webb's Polymarket piece. But let's just go through these. Good morning, K Sharp. Says morning. Had lunch in Greene County yesterday. Oh, nice. My hometown. What part? I was in the South Greene area. That's where I went to school. South Greene High School. Old Rebs. JC says, did you hear new Rothbard dropped recently? What do you mean they published some old stuff? I did not know they did, but I'm assuming he's not they didn't resurrect Rothbard, so I'm assuming they must have pulled some old stuff. I did not know that. He's dunking on Zionism. Oh, hell yeah. Feel free to tag me, JC. I know you got me on Twitter. Good morning. I say good morning to you, JC, or your Fire Pixie. Good morning. Good morning, Q Bergamo. Good to see you here. All right, aggressively saying, I don't understand why they let this men make statements about Iran. I can't recall any other admin constantly making statements the way Trump does. K Sharp said Circle S. I don't know. Circle S. Is that a thing in Tennessee that I don't know of? A Circle S? Is that like a convenience store that I forgot is a thing? I mean, a Circle K's is a thing, and that's Circle S. Is okay, that doesn't. If you're trying to give me some sort of landmark I would know where you are in Greene County, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was in Greenville, so Greenville, particularly South Greene portion of Greenville. All right, let's get into. I guess go ahead and jump into Kirk's Epstein handlers. Quite a bit of chatting in the chat, but not really much for me there. Most of you guys just talking back and forth. So let's go ahead and get into the latest. Friend of the show, Dana Duda, dropped a little bit of a mini thread on John Mappin, which he's been kind of on his ass for a while, as well as she should be, because John Mappin is one of the, as they call them, the whales, one of the whales of Scientology in UK, one of the major donors, a big old millionaire. I'm not sure. I'm assuming maybe he's at billionaire level, but he's got lots of money, big old bucks, daddy warbucks. He's kind of the UK Turning Point guy. He's essentially helped Charlie Kirk set up Turning Point over in that region. Also big guy in Scientology, way up toward the tippy top. He was also in Epstein's Black Book, which we've talked about this on the story before, which isn't necessarily too damning. It's just his address book. Now, within the address book, there are things that are more damning or less damning. There are multiple addresses, and when they're circled and stuff. I can't remember if it was circled, although you also don't know why he's circling. I mean, you assume that means more significant relationship if Epstein is placing notes of some sort or demarcations, but we don't know what it means. But either way, it's not that big of a deal being the Black Book, but it just shows that you have reached a level of approximation to Epstein to where he is at the very least has your information. So he's in that, but apparently he's also in the Epstein files. I did not know that. Apparently neither did Dana Duda. She says, well, John Mappin is named in the Epstein files. Maybe I'm late to the news. Looked around but didn't find anything. The year of the call isn't provided and the caller doesn't say it, but Operation Orchid is not for those with a weak stomach. So we have an audio clip to watch. It doesn't give us a whole. I have not watched or not listened to this yet, so we will listen to this together. Here it is. And I guess we'll talk about it. I see you guys saying no sound, but really, is it really no sound? I can hear it. It is quiet, but I can hear it. I'm sorry if you can't. I will give it a retweet, so you should be able to listen to it on your own time. I'll give it a retweet, so you can just go find it over on at Tower Gang Jose. You can find, or just go to Dana's page at Dana Duda. But I gave it a retweet, so you can find it either place. But yeah, that was the Epstein files, a little clip. Yeah, I mean, I was able to hear it. I did have to focus. It was pretty dang quiet, and I was about as loud as I could make it. I'm sorry. I wish there was a way to bring it up louder, but it was pretty quiet. But it was, I guess, to give a summation for people, not on YouTube, for Rumble. I guess that's weird. People are saying it was on Rumble. I'm seeing everyone complaining on Rumble, but not YouTube. That's weird. So you guys were able to hear it on YouTube, but not Rumble? Huh. Okay, well, I'll have to keep an eye on that. Make sure that's not like something it does on other clips. Wow. So hey, YouTube, someone on YouTube, were you able to hear it? Because it's saying, oh, wait, so Alien Big, were you able to hear it? No here. Someone on YouTube, tell me if you're able to hear it. I know this is awful for anyone listening to this later, but I am curious. Or whatever, we'll come back to it. Okay, we're getting no. You couldn't hear it on YouTube either. That's bullshit. There's no way you couldn't hear anything. It's showing that there's audio on my side, but you know what I did? I'm retarded. I just realized I'm retarded. I think I fucked up. I just realized I'm the retard here. I was thinking it was you guys, and I'm the idiot. I didn't follow the link. Let's try this one more time. You know what? Let's start over. All right, we got John Mappin. Let's just pretend we're starting the segment all over. All right, we're starting off. We're going to talk about John Mappin today. By the way, if you're just jumping in here for the timestamp, I erased the earlier part. It's a little bit embarrassing. Fucked it up. But we do have a thread here we're going to be digging through. It's from Dana Duda, at Dana Duda. It says, well, John Mappin is named in the Epstein files. Maybe I'm late to the news, looked around, but didn't find anything. The year of the call isn't provided, and the caller doesn't say it, but Operation Orchid is not for those with a weak stomach. We've talked about John Mappin quite a bit on this show. He's the whale, what they call them, a whale over in Scientology in the UK. A whale being a major donor, one of the big dogs over in the UK. So we're going to dig into him a little bit, dig into some other Charlie Kirk stuff. But yeah, he's also kind of made a name of himself as being one of the kind of how would I put this? I don't know if I'd say financial, maybe spiritual, maybe that's not the wrong word, or social would probably be backers. At least for so far as donors of Turning Point go, like they've represented the faction of Turning Point people, and kind of a money. It's obviously there's a lot of money there. I don't know to what degree they're actually working with Candace, but either way, they've come to the aid of Candace in all of these the crusades that Candace has been having for Charlie Kirk. Mappin has been very much unabashedly on the Candace side of all of this. So he's kind of been the point guy there. He also, like I said, he was so he's a shady character. He's an odd feller, and as we've talked about before, he was in the Epstein's Black Book, which that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's just his address book. Some people have things circled and stuff in there. More important, less important. I don't necessarily recall if any demarcations on there, but either way, it doesn't necessarily mean anything just being in the book. So we can't get a whole lot out of that, but apparently he's also made an appearance in the Epstein files. Once again, apology for the people catching this live that did get the redo there. But here you go. Here it is. Hopefully it is quiet. So I will warn you, this is a very quiet clip, so listen closely. But this is from the Epstein files. This is someone expressing essentially it's essentially a tip line into the FBI. Is what we could say. Or someone calling into the FBI with a tip. This is the audio that we're listening to, particularly about John Mappin. So here you
go. My name's I'm calling from London, UK, and I've been put through to your number, sir, by the switchboard and another person. Is it possible, if you can, to give me a call back? It's about an entry in Jeffrey Epstein's contact book, the 97-page one, a chap called John Mappin. I deal with whistleblowers and charities over here for a number of years regarding child sexual abuse. I've been following this very closely, have been heavily involved. I'm not a police officer. Basically, this man has been identified back in 1989 to a police operation here in the Met called Operation Orchid. If it is the same John Mappin, if you want to give me a ring back, my UK mobile number is... the Met didn't act on it, like they didn't act on a lot of things regarding child sexual abuse. It specifically involves a ring called the baby sitting ring. I'll let you draw your own conclusions to that. It's pretty horrific, the detail I've been given by the retired charity worker who had meetings at New Scotland Yard, unreceptive meetings to the details they were giving. Thanks very much. It's UK time. I'm in mid-afternoon, and it is the 31st of August. Thanks, gang. Bye-bye.
All right, cool. Should be a little bit quiet, but I'm seeing people saying they heard it. They heard it this time, so we got it. Sorry about that. Sometimes when I follow a link, it opens a new tab. Sometimes it doesn't. So this time I opened a new tab and I forgot to change the screen I was sharing. My bad. Anyways, back to this Dana Doodah thread. Let's dig a little bit into this Operation Orchid. Now, once again, even to this guy being in the address book doesn't necessarily mean anything. And who knows, this, even what we're covering now, this could be some fucking op in and of itself. There could be some dude out there. I'm not sure when this call was made. I mean, hell, this could have been after, stuff even became prolific. Maybe there's some dickhead out there that's just like, fuck John Mappin. You know what? I know he's in the black book, and maybe it's some schizophrenic out there, maybe, or somebody with a bone to pick. And he's like, fuck John Mappin. Maybe, like I said, maybe even somebody who is being paranoid and just jumping to crazy conclusions based on the fact that he was just in the whatever. Either way, it's just one person who called in and said, hey, we have this. So we can't put a whole lot in it, but we'll admit, it looks a little fishy. It's one more little feather to put in your cap, I guess. One more thing to think about. One more little and it gives us an opportunity to dig a little bit into Operation Orchid. So let's dig into a couple of these excerpts that Dana shared for here. She actually shared a transcript here, so that helps out too. So I'll read the transcript too real quick for those who weren't able to make it out. It was pretty quiet. Also, it's kind of hard to make out. Like, talking with crazy. Right round the right. What the fuck are you saying? Sorry, the UK people. But to me, that's what we hear. We're like, what? I kind of didn't really know half what that motherfucker said. So it is helpful to read it again. So it's my name's Bleep. I'm calling from London, UK, and I've been put through to your number, sir, by the switchboard and another person. Is it possible, if you can, to give me a call back? It's about an entry in Jeffrey Epstein's contact book, the 97-page one, a chap called John Mappin. I deal with whistleblowers and charities over here for a number of years regarding child sexual abuse. I've been following this very closely, have been heavily involved. I'm not a police officer. Basically, this man has been identified back in 1989 to a police operation here in the Met called Operation Orchid. If it's the same John Mappin, if you want to give me a ring back, my UK number or mobile number is redacted. The Met didn't act on it like they didn't act on a lot of things regarding child sexual abuse. It specifically involves a ring, the babysitting ring. I'll let you draw your own conclusions to that. It's pretty horrific. The detail I've been given by the retired charity worker who had meetings at New Scotland Yard. Unreceptive meetings, the details they were given. Thanks very much. It's UK time. I'm in mid-afternoon. It's the 31st of August. So we did get 31st of August. No idea what year it is. So let's dig a little bit more into this. Here is a picture. Oh, here's Daily Mail News. Give a little more on this pedophile gang. It says notorious pedophile gang could have covered up to 17 child murders, or covered up, and be linked to a VIP guest house. I was immediately thinking, I bet you they're talking about the Elm Guest House, and they are. That comes up in the Eye of the Chicken Hawk, Simon Dovey's book, great book. Roger Studley helped expose 1980s child abuse ring led by Sidney Cook. Detectives solved 3 boys' murder, but believe there were 20 victims. He said an investigation could help probe involving the Elm Guest House. VIP house is at center of inquiry into alleged Westminster pedophile ring. Comes as family of murdered Vishal Mehrotra called on Met Police to see whether 2 groups are connected. Continue on. Who is this? This is a leader of the Dirty Dozen, Sidney Cook and his pedophile ring. Here's a picture of Sidney Cook. a former fairground worker, says he earned his reputation as one of the country's most notorious pedophiles when he was a leading member of a gang that operated from a flat in Hackney, East London. The gang, known as the Dirty Dozen, hired out rent boys to snatch children off the streets before subjecting them to abuse and sexual torture. Here's more on this. Who is this? This is Sydney Cook. It says born. Well, I don't know why she's sharing. Is it Sydney Cook? Who is this? I don't know who they're sharing here. I'm not really sure why they're showing. This is a murder victim. This is Tildesley. Doesn't show his name. John. No, not who. Tildes. Okay, I'm thinking this is one of the victims. Okay, here's one of the victims. I'm not seeing a first name here. She's, for some reason, that's cuts out, but it's Tildesley, the son of John and Lavinia Tildesley. Maybe we'll get the name here in a second. So it's to publicize Tildesley's disappearance. A national poster campaign was launched with one displayed in every police station in the country. The disappearance was publicized in national news and was featured in the premiere episode Crime Watch UK. Despite a massive public response, however, Tildesley was still not located. 1989, Tildesley's disappearance was linked to the Operation Orchid investigation into missing children. 1990, as part of this investigation, it emerged the night he disappeared, Tildesley had been abducted, drugged, tortured, raped, and murdered by a London-based pedophile gang led by Sydney Cook. So this is kind of tying all those things together. Sydney Cook was the head of that Dirty Dozen. Dirty Dozen was the group that carried out this, whatever they just called them, the Operation Orchid. The Operation Orchid was the investigation into the Dirty Dozen, my bad. A member of the gang, Leslie Bailey, was charged with murder in 91 and was given 2 life sentences after pleading guilty to manslaughter the following year. He was murdered in prison in 93. Dana says it's also worth noting the Orchid branding of these networks documented and programmed to kill by Dave McGowan. Those said abuse had escalated to what would now likely be referred to as red rooms thanks to the internet. So I guess they're saying it's almost now a term you can kind of swap out with red rooms, this Orchid term. So Orchid just being a similar term that comes up a lot. All right, moving on. Let's check out this clip. Let's check out some of the other funny, some of the goofy people surrounding these people. Kirk. Now, obviously, this is someone that's more on the other side of the equation when it comes to these folks. I think it's all a big game. It's all a big. What was it? It's all a big game, and you're not part of it. Or I guess you're the. I'm trying to think of a better metaphor here. I was trying to play off the old. It's a big club, and you ain't in it, but whatever. It didn't quite work. Either way, it just feels like there's a whole play being done here. There's a whole lot of spooky characters. Although, I guess when you get to this level, they're all kind of spooky. But let's look at Frank Turk and some of the wild shit he said recently. Here we go.
So, what motive would Israel have to kill Charlie? And if Israel did kill him, why haven't they killed prominent commentators like Candace and Tucker Carlson, who are very hostile to Israel? Why? Because they can't? Yeah, Mossad could do so, I would think. If you're saying that they killed Charlie, why can't they kill other people who are far, far, far more hostile to Israel than Charlie or anybody else like him ever was? So what motive would Israel have to kill Charlie? And if Israel did kill him, why haven't they killed prominent
okay, so this person says Frank Turk's fantasizing about Israel assassinating Candace with Tucker Carlson. I just bookmarked this because I wanted to dig into this, see how spooky this was. I gotta be real, it's not that. I mean, I think his logic doesn't necessarily follow, but people are running with this like as if like, well, why haven't they killed? So he's like almost implying, people are implying almost like, well, why? He says like even right here, he's fantasizing about Israel assassinating. I don't know. I mean, he's a weird character, but I think this came off as a dud. So once again, you never know if you're a first person showing up here. This is all this stuff is in the moment. We're dredging through this stuff, so you never know. I figured, hey, this is kind of in the similar vein of the handlers surrounding Charlie saying some wild shit. This seems like a dud to me. Let's play it one more time. Maybe I get a different vibe from it this time.
So what motive would Israel have to kill Charlie? And if Israel did kill him, why haven't they killed prominent commentators like Candace and Tucker Carlson, who are very hostile to Israel? Why? Because they can't? Yeah, Mossad could do so, I would think. If you're saying that they killed Charlie, why can't they kill other people who are far, far, far more hostile to Israel than Charlie or anybody else like him ever was?
All right. Well, as I said, okay, once again, I listened to it again, nothing more. For me, I don't really feel like this. I mean, the logic is weak. I'll admit that. Obviously, there's all sorts of other reasons. For example, I don't necessarily claim this to be the case, but they show in this picture, if you're, audio, it shows in this clip, he's got next to him a picture of Candace and Tucker. I don't know that these people are controlled op, but they're the sort of people that if I found out tomorrow they were controlled op, I'd be like, okay, most unsurprising thing ever. Like, I wouldn't be blown away, particularly if any of these guys were controlled op. So, why wouldn't Israel do that? I don't know. Maybe there's other sort of reasons. Maybe Charlie Kirk was actually legitimately turning on Israel. I don't really know. I think maybe a lot of people run with that like crazy. Maybe he really was. That would make sense to me. But either way, this is a dud. People angling, to me at least, like, oh, he's fantasizing about them killing him. But at the same time, the logic is very flawed. Like, the idea that, like, oh, why would Charlie want to kill I mean, Charlie was kind of sort of in this, like, this fluctuation point, I guess, of the vibe when it came to Israel. And then a lot of people were very much on his ass, myself included, for some of his Israel support. And the reason why I think he got a lot of flack is because, for one, he was a prominent person, but also he really was in this, like, seated in this place where I think a lot of people did recognize this was a issue for him, to where, like, what he has branded himself over for years, which I know he's branded himself over for years as the top goy, but he also has branded himself as a moral person, as a person who cares for children, who cares for human life, does the right thing. And the Israel issue has kind of just been seated in the world, or in the United States, for past decades as kind of less of a big deal, and it's kind of come to the fore, and it really did kind of force him. And so I'm not necessarily sure where he would have fallen on the issue if he'd stayed alive, but I think you can almost feel in your bones why perhaps he would. I mean, hell, Netanyahu even himself released the one letter where Kirk was going on about how he can't sell this shit, essentially, which you can take that as him being like the perfect little goy and be like, sir, I need more to work with. But either way, that in of itself expresses the same thing I just expressed, just maybe more cynical version of it. And just that, like, maybe he was just some actor that was reading the tea leaves, and he just knew. I mean, he's a young guy. He's young. He was younger than I am. Like, he's got his whole commentating life ahead of him. So same kind of paradigm to a lot of these younger politicians that are turning on Israel. It's like, you're on the record right now, and you got a lot more time to go. Not everybody's Dan Bongino that can kind of sell their souls to the devil and be like, well, oh no, if I can only make a few bucks, whatever, I'm good now. Like, no, we're talking about a dude who was in his early 30s. So I don't know. Anyways, moving on from this one. Let's check in on the video. We got Candace on the supposed video of the shooting. Apparently, Candace got a hold of the video. That's what I've been told. Once again, something I've held to dig in with you guys. So, looks like we got a closer version of the so-called shot all the influencers were saying they saw. Somehow, I guess Candace got it. So let's watch it.
This limp that he has, and the footage is completely removed. So let's watch that. Okay.
So by the way,
now what
for those, so you can see this is a little bit of a closer version of the video we've seen. They cleaned it up quite a bit, because the one we've seen before was like it was way smaller initially. So, but let's keep going. So just.
Okay.
Like the video we'd seen before of this, it was like literally we're talking like a couple pixels, like, and so the idea they can make out a shot. So now we are actually in the realm where who knows? Maybe Jack Posobiec is telling the truth. Maybe he did see a shot. Let's keep going. I mean, let's be real. I guess a little bit of a spoiler. Candace is covering it. Probably not. So let's keep going.
Now what happens next is exactly as my source stipulated. Our our rooftop guy begins a tactical crawl. It's actually known in the military as a lateral crawl.
Okay, all right. Just get ahead of this. I have no idea how much he's going to lead into this. I've seen this. I did not know the exact source of all of this discourse, but a lot of people have been making a thing about it because I don't know if they showed in that clip or they're about to show it, but yes, I guess he does do some sort of like military crawl or whatever, but it's like, I mean, anyone who's played Call of Duty or got basic, I don't know, like you got a buddy who went to base, I mean, or you've gone to the range once or twice. I mean, I don't know. They're acting like it's some like fucking Splinter Cell sort of shit or something that you're like dropping from ceilings and fucking slitting throats or something. You're like, no, this is I mean, these are just like basic gun safety stuff. So anyways, back to the video.
Watch that.
Okay, yeah, we're seeing it now. Yeah, this is the thing a lot of people are pointing to, like, oh, look at this technique. It's goddamn Jason Bourne.
And I actually do want to show you side by side so you can actually see a real military man do that.
Oh my God, he's really good. She is going to do it. So she does lean into it.
Alongside.
I mean, I didn't know if that was something maybe online was running with and Candace did right with it. Maybe a lot of people were like, oh my God. Because this sounds like some Ryan Mata would post. Be like, you see this? Oh, here's a video of a fucking Green Beret doing a low crawl. And you see this guy's doing a low crawl. It seems like something he would do. But okay, let's keep watching.
This person on the rooftop. Let's bring in that side by side clip. Here we go. That general action right there is known as a lateral crawl.
Assad confirmed.
Now, you may have noted, if you're just looking at your eyes, some sort of a flash that just took place, right? We're going to show you that slow down and just kind of discuss this. We've gone back and forth here. What is that? Is he pulling something out? Is it like a signal mirror? Is it a flag? Was it already on Losey Center? Is it actually something that's in the background that's just catching weird? Is it a car? And we're just thinking that we see this flash, but we're just going to show you that so that it's clear. Back and forth flash there while he's military crawling. Here we go. There, and we're running that back and forth there. Okay, so you now have that.
That looks like it could just be something in the background, or it could be something he had. I don't know. We're dealing with such foggy.
Next
picture.
up, what you are going to see is that it's going to look as though, as he gets into position and completes this lateral crawl, that he thrusts something forward in a way that my brain told me it looked like he was unfolding a gun. Truly, that's what my brain told me. Maybe it's because I had this guy and told me about a fold AR. I don't know, but it's not definitive. That's me narrating. I'm happy for people to disagree and debate what is seen. But let's just watch that portion here. There we go. Something forward. And we can watch that again. Something forward.
I mean, we're looking at something so small. I will say, I get what you mean. It does look like something almost unfurled out, but in almost like in a 2-action thing, almost as if they set out and then it folded out, but in all like one similar action. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could just be our eyes playing tricks on us with such low resolution. It could just be as simple as setting the gun down, but something about, maybe, I don't know. So let's keep going.
But more importantly,
but yeah, it looks like a gun's on the ground.
Than what we see here is what we're not going to see here. So remember, this is supposed to be a German 98 Mauser family heirloom gun used during World War I and World War II. That'll effectively take your shoulder out when it's fired. Even the newer models, if you go watch people shooting, they're like, oh, my shoulder. And if you're looking through a scope as he...
Okay, the second thing she said is more accurate than the first thing. Maybe the ow, my shoulder, as opposed to knock your shoulder out. Okay, she got herself on the second try.
Allegedly was, you might even expect a black eye. You will recall that the guy who recorded the footage specifically told us that he saw no recoil. That's pretty crucial. He just saw the guy get up and run. And that would be, I would argue, or a lawyer in court, that would be impossible for this specific naked model of gun. So let's watch and see if we, with our eyes, can observe some sort of a kickback. And again, I have to apologize. I this is not like Ben.
Oh my God. So we're literally watching this video trying to see if we can see a kickback, which I'm going to go ahead and tell you you're not going to be able to. Now, to be fair, okay, I guess I rolled my eyes a little bit. I kind of forgot the whole reason she's doing it. The whole reason she's doing it. So to be fair to her, I guess I rolled my eyes at her like, oh, we're looking at that. To be fair, the reason why you're looking is because she's trying to debunk that any of these influencers are running around saying we saw the shot. So I guess that was me just putting a little stank on it for no reason against Candace. But yeah, she's not entirely wrong digging into perhaps. Although, yeah, as I said, I'd be astounded if you could make out a recoil on a fucking rifle from that far with it. But yeah, even more to her point though, that like, yeah, they almost certain didn't actually literally see a shot.
Johnson 4K footage, but it's at least clear enough here on your screen that you would be able to discern.
So I'm assuming that white thing they were showing earlier was perhaps maybe. I'm assuming maybe some people were out there trying to act as if that was a muzzle flash, although that I believe that happened before even what looks like the setting of the gun out. But we're dealing with such low resolution, such small pictures that like people can misidentify. So I mean, even more to her point, that the Jack Posobics of the world saying, "I know what I saw, and it was a gunshot." It's like you may have seen a gunshot, but you don't know. There's no way you know that. That's fucking stupid.
A strong kickback on a gun from somebody who's just laying down taking a shot. So I'm going to let this run. It's about 50 seconds. And you just let me know if at any point you see that before he gets up and breaks into a sprint. Take a look. There you go. That's that unfolding again. And by the way, if you are listening to this in audio, this is one of these episodes that you actually do have to go watch. So you will have to pivot over to YouTube, to Spotify, somewhere that provides the video, because this is not something that we could just produce on an audio podcast here, unfortunately. But this is going to run. We did have to obviously zoom in and push out those fed timestamps, but see here, I have 10 more seconds here. Okay, he is up.
I will say I did see like what looked like him move-ish, sort of. So like at the time when, like right before, but nothing. I mean, it really is like the sort of stuff that could just be your eyes playing tricks on you. And even if it did happen, it could just be a shifting of a foot. It could be anything. So we're dealing with such shit here. So more to,
anybody
buttressing Candace's point that these people are full of shit.
Anybody see a recoil? I didn't see one, but let's actually put that footage all together uninterrupted. Here we go for you guys to watch. Here he comes running on to the rooftop. What we know definitively is he gets down into what is known as a lateral military crawl. He begins that crawl over to the right first, and then to the left. We see a quick flash.
This is like also the thing that's annoying is that the reason he's doing it is so he's not spotted on the roof, and he just can understand where people who would spot him would be. And like that's exactly how I would move if I was like, oh, I want to get low and I want to kind of scoot around. Like I don't think there's anything like. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting caught up on the stupid crawling thing. Everyone's making a big deal about.
I'm not sure what that flash is. Actually, this looks like. I'm not going to read into it. There's that throw forward. I say fold forward. You can say throw forward, but that's definitely something being flung forward, getting into position. And here we wait for what we expect to be some sort of a kickback. This must have been when our source began recording from the side of a Losi building and said, oh, I just saw someone get up there. He's got a gun. And he's up. And he's gone. What do you guys think?
All right. Well, what do you guys think? I guess to Candace's point, yeah, this shows nothing. Once again, even though they do actually, I guess, to the influencers, I guess they're the idea of like, oh, we actually have this zoomed in. The existence even of this video is kind of like, oh shit. I don't know if the idea they thought that maybe later when this came out, they'd be able to be like, oh, whoa, look at this. There is zoomed in video, and you can sort of maybe, if you really bend over backwards, can kind of tell when he took a shot. Because, I mean, you could probably take the time stamps of like when the video is happening and when it's and you could match it up, and maybe you would notice like a little bit of a movement of the pixel at that point in time. But even then, you're just in such weak territory, and that's not even going into the fact that like how now you're gonna try to identify this guy as him. Like, yeah, I'm sure. I guess the idea would be then you would then match it to other cameras that he's gone through, which we have done before, where we get the like him walking with a limp and shit like that. So, but yeah, Alex Jones comment on this. He says the official Charlie Kirk assassination story is now 100% dead. I mean, I wouldn't say that. Candace Owens just dropped powerful never before surveillance video of the Losey Center rooftop. The video Owens released appears to be raw and unedited. This is the same footage the court will not let the public see, that we are meant to believe is Tyler Robinson assassinating Charlie Kirk. The individual does not look like Tyler Robinson. I mean, he doesn't look like anybody. He just looks like a person in a black thing. The rifle is never pulled from his pants. That's a good point. I mean, I didn't see a rifle because the whole thing is that he would have stuffed, the whole argument is he stuffed a rifle either fully assembled or disassembled in some way into his pants. And even if it was fully assembled, if it was disassembled, we'd obviously have in that video, we would have had a good little period of time where he would have been stationary in some location, clearly putting his gun together. I don't think any of those, you didn't really seem to have enough time or really be doing anything. It would have been more movement. That or it was together, but even then, you're still pulling a full-size 30-06 from your fucking jeans. Like, I mean, try to put a long rifle or shotgun in your pants. I mean, I haven't, but like, it's gonna be an ordeal getting it out. And I know we're dealing with low resolution, small picture, whatever. But even that, I really think, yeah, you would pick out someone pulling out a whole fucking gun. I mean, I guess the argument might be that they took it off beforehand, but you would think you would see them holding it, or anyways, whatever. The person in the footage has no limp, so yeah, he doesn't. It says nowhere do we see the shooter assembling the gun on the roof, as we were told. No recoil is seen. Now, I guess the recoil thing I do think is a little ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, that's a hard call, I guess. I don't know. I go back and forth with like how big that video was. If it really would be that distinctive, maybe I'm like kind of on the fence of like whether that would really. I mean, people act like it's gonna like even Candace at the beginning said, "Oh, blow your shoulder off," and then in the end it sounded like people are like, "Ooh, a little bump." Like she said it two different ways, but either way, people talk it up. I don't know if it'd be that bad. I would think for Mauser probably does have some pretty shitty kick though, so I'm kind of leaning towards you probably should be able to see the kick. But not being able to see it or being able to see it doesn't really mean one thing or the other. But it definitely does show that these people are full of shit about whether they actually saw it. Continuing on, let's check out this clip. Apparently, Candace is claiming they cleared the hospital before Charlie was shot. So let's see. I am curious to see source. What is the source, Candace? And if it is some dude told me, miss me with that gay shit until you give some more.
This guy. Anyway, back to our question. Where are the witnesses to the events that took place that
Well, to be clear, some dude that I won't tell you who it is. So, like, trust me, bro, basically.
day at Timpanogos Hospital? Where are they? That's a scene. Didn't they see him doing that? Didn't they see Dr. Harpole House? Well, listen to this. I am told that at some point in the 10 o'clock a.m. hour on September 10th, so to be clear, and this is crucial, over 2 hours before Charlie was shot, the Timpanogos hospital staff directed everyone who was in the emergency room into a different wing of the hospital. People were not sure what was going on. The staff was directed to move everyone in the emergency room to a different wing of the hospital. Then after some time at approximately 11:30 a.m., patients were informed that they would be in hospital. That's Utah Valley Hospital. And that's what happened. All of the emergency room patients and all of their files were then transferred to Intermountain. So there's effectively no trail outside of hospital cameras, which have been conveniently seized by Kash Patel's office, of these patients ever having been at Timpanogos Hospital. Now, there are a few things I'd like to say here. First, there's always a trail. There's always a trail. Somebody somewhere drove that shuttle bus, booked the shuttle bus, saw the shuttle bus arriving at Intermountain Hospital, was working at Intermountain Hospital when a shuttle bus stopped and people emerged and files mysteriously then were transferred. And if you are that somebody, that one body, please email us. By the way, I just want to mention, if you were one of those patients, you probably should also contact a lawyer, but you can't pull that off without something. There's also some techie people, maybe the Google satellite imagery, this shuttle, somebody's going to look up shuttle companies. Was there a weird trip that day? Let's get on that. More tips at CandaceOwens.com, because if we are able to prove that.
Okay, right there. Just to, as I said at the beginning, what is the source? I didn't really catch it if she said it in there. She kind of sort of said it there at the end. But apparently I did a little bit of digging, elsewhere to find the source. I just asked Grok. So to be clear, Grok is by no means a definitive source, but to back it up, I assumed it was going to be some sort of anonymous tip. But yeah, this is just an anonymous tip. It's all of this just anonymous tip. You can see at the bottom, and the minimum threshold you have to do to get one of these is go to more tips at CandaceOwens.com. And that's how you can get, supposedly they pulled all these people out, this, that, yada, yada, which I don't know. Maybe they did. I'm completely open to it. Wilder things have happened in the conspiracy world, but you got to give me more than some fucking dude called, emailed Candace Owens. Sorry. And continuing on, here's another clip. Well, let's watch this, and then we'll come back to another kind of even more chastise. Are people even checking this shit?
So who is this Dr. Andrew Guajardo, right? Anything that might be of interest in his background? That was kind of how Ashley began. She was like, I wonder about the medical examiner. I wonder who he is. I said, yeah, we should get to that. And it turns out there's something very interesting to know about him. And it's who he's married to. His wife is someone who might be of interest, who might be an expert in this category. Honestly, they might bring her in as an expert, because Dr. Andrew Guajardo is married to a furry. I kid you not. Or at least, the very least we can assert is that he's married to someone who encourages, supports, works with, and propagates the culture of furries, and occasionally...
All right, I don't know what this person supposedly did, but lock them up.
He dresses up as one herself. He's married to a woman named Dr. Ashley Brown Guajardo. And here she is. Meet Ashley. Now we obviously turned the sound off because there was music as she was dancing as a furry, and she was promoting her book, and she used the hashtag, furry. We're going to read what this book is about before I tell you more about her, because this is just so incredible. Let's pull this Penguin Random House book that she was promoting. She published this book, Play Like a Fangirl. Okay.
All right. Now, who is this? Now, this is Imperfectly Perfect shared this, says, does anyone actually fact check this? As I did a quick look, and Dr. Andrew Guajardo's wife's name appears to be Sarah, not Ashley. And there's virtually no public info about her, according to the Dutchess County government. Now, maybe there's something wrong here. Also, the claim that he left Utah as if it's some bombshell doesn't hold up. He accepted the medical examiner position in Dutchess County, New York, where he grew up. So he was essentially returning home, not making some mysterious exit from Utah. This is according to the Dutchess County government. She says, before people run with a narrative, they should probably make sure the basic facts are right, which I mean, even more so, you look at the last one, which who knows, maybe that last little bit we covered maybe was 100% true, but it's based on an anonymous source. I'm sorry, you got to give me a little bit more than just an anonymous source, or at the very least treat it with that level of respect. And even then, you should probably caveat this is just some person who knows. I definitely did not get that impression. I don't think most people do get that impression, which is telling tall tales that people email Candace about. But either way, moving on. And also, it's this sort of stuff that I think I see and I go, what the fuck is this? I kind of roll my eyes at all of this shit, this mean girl faggoty shit that they're doing. Here's Candace Owens. Now, we've given this guy shit before, so this is by no means me being against giving people shit. But here is Candace Owens shitting on Graham Allen. Now, I guess it's in response here. It says, if Candace Owens is to be believed that she's been sitting on this bombshell footage since October 2025, that means she has blatantly lied, manipulated, and purposely misled her audience for over 10 months. She's either lying now or has been lying the entire time. It's a quick clip. Let's actually play it real quick.
My question is simply this. If she is to be believed, and she's had this footage since forever, then how can you believe anything she said for the past 10 months? This is the place that we find ourselves with the online movement right now. There is actual truth tellers versus entertainers for views, clicks, and rage bait. And I argue that Candace is the queen bee of the latter. That's my argument. And I just don't see how anyone can take anything she says seriously anymore. And if I was her audience, I would feel very used. And I would feel very conned out of my money. I would feel all of these things.
Well, it seemed pretty rational to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've given this guy shit before. He's, signed up to be essentially some sort of representative for the Department of War a while back. He's a former, I think, military member. I am too. There's not necessarily anything. Well, there is something wrong with that. I guess to be clear, I do think it's not a good thing, but it's not necessarily doesn't mean you're like necessarily immediately a spook. But I mean, dude literally worked for the Department of War. So I don't know, just like as a podcaster. I don't mean in a function as a podcaster. I forget what the role is. We covered this a while back. I mean, I think we literally used him as a thumbnail. So if you are interested, just scroll back the live streams until you find the one that has a thumbnail of Graham Allen, and that will be us digging into what exactly he did for the Department of War, kind of digging into the weeds on that. But yeah, the dude, he moves like a spook. But even that, Candace Owens has this effect of making the worst people, I don't know, sound pretty goddamn rational. I don't know if you hear, seems like anytime Ben Shapiro opens up about Candace these days, he seems to be spitting straight facts, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong, I used to be kind of, I wouldn't say on the Candace train, but more of a positive view of that, and be like, hey, she's kind of digging into some good stuff. Since then, I've been like, what the fuck is her deal? But anyways, backing up. So that's that. Now, what was Candace's response to this? This is, Graham, why don't you dedicate your time responding to the gay men who claim they put you on the map and have been ringing the alarm on you being conservative fraud for money? I think it would be better use of your investigative pursuits to respond to the swinger allegations. Which, I don't know anything about Graham Allen's personal life. Seems insanely, incredibly irrelevant. This is ridiculous, mean girl shit. What does this have to do with anything? If he was gay or if he was a swinger, this would in no way bear on the truth of it. It's not really relevant to anything here. I mean, maybe it'd be good for a little funny or something. Don't be wrong, I've been involved in shitting on people plenty of times online and saying all sorts of incredibly mean things, slurs and everything. So, I'm not, but you would think, if the attack is here on, you would at least give some sort of umbrage to something on a factual level as just opposed to, you're gay, I think, and there's swinger allegations. Just seems kind of weird. Just seems like a weird move to me, particularly. So just for funs, I did dig a little bit into, what the fuck is she even talking about here? What is she even using to support these, salacious claims, I guess? Here's a picture of him with some guy named John. Pictures of them next to each other, all tatted up. I don't know if this is back from military days or something, some old thing from Facebook. Here's a picture of Graham back in his fatigues, shirtless, just looking ripped, no homo, looks good. I mean, this is the kind of, any dude in shape that's been in the military probably has taken this fucking photo as some sort of thirst trap at some point. I mean, whatever. I don't know. Here's more photos of him looking all juicy. And then here's somebody named John Late, which I'm assuming maybe, because here's a picture of John. I'm assuming that the thread they're trying to get to connect here is maybe this is the same guy from this photo before. This is all very much like this is the level of logic that Candace deals with, which like we're already in a ridiculous territory. We're like, is this guy gay? And even then the logic that she's using to point to is super fucking whack. So this is the logic. This is the thing. She shit on him about being gay, possibly being some sort of swinger. She shares some weird Facebook post. This is the Facebook post, some weird cryptic Facebook post from, what is this, September 20th, 2025, from John Late. This is Graham Allen, who got to start looking hot for the gays. He used to tell stories in his yelly voice. It was funny, looked damn good. So thanks to the gays and older women, this thirst trap got famous. Then something changed. He started believing conspiracy theories and drank the Kool-Aid and became a Trumper. He has a lot of influence in that movement. Sorry, I'm reading how he said it. Bad grammar. Now he worked for the DOD as a propaganda arm of the DOD. As of early 2025, conservative podcaster and former Army veteran Graham Allen is employed by the DOD as the director of digital media, which that is partially true. We've talked about that. I think he's like kind of in like a fired status, although they like gave him some other other title. But either way, he as a podcaster was completely willing to sell out to be like, yeah, I'll work for the fucking government as a podcaster. Like, it's one thing if you like worked for the government, and like, I get it. There's people who work for the government and disagree with it, and like maybe there's a period of time in which you were a podcaster. I myself guilty. I've told you guys before. I started the show while I was still active duty. So like, but I did it by no means like it's not like I was in any way. It's like that. Not like I literally like joined. It's not like I was like, hey, I'm podcaster Jose Gallison, and then the government contacted me and was like, will you do podcasting for me? And then I was like, yeah. Like, no, actually I was doing it on the down low. Like, probably could have gotten in trouble if they got caught wind of it. So no more though. Anyways, it says, do not think for one moment any of the words out of his mouth are not vetted by the right-wing administration. You're welcome for the gays and cougars support, or you'd just be a redneck father and husband working at Walmart, which, I mean, yeah, it's all true. Like, he is, like, let's be real, this guy's success is probably because he's kind of a thirst trap for basic bitches and gay men. Like, and he kind of yelled, I think he started as being like a yelly conservative in his truck. Like, that's what he did. Now, is he gay? I don't know. Is he swing? I don't know. What is this? How is this relevant to any of this? I will give you the whole, like, working for the government thing's relevant, but all this other stuff seems like a bit of a distraction. And even another person feeding the distraction, Buckley Carlson, even jumped in. This is the brother of Tucker. It says, remember, Graham Allen is not just a ridiculously vain meat stick pillow biter. He's also a former DOW contractor. According to their own call logs, apparently solidified their contract with Turning Point 11 minutes after Charlie's precisely orchestrated public death. Bear in mind, Buckley Carlson is the son of a CIA fucking legend. So, I don't know. It's a little bit ridiculous. But I mean, obviously, you know, with that, I guess that kind of neutralizes that angle, and he's obviously going after the gay thing. So Buckley jumping into the gay thing, it just comes off as just stupid. This comes off as dumb to me, the lowest fucking common denominator nonsense. I mean, fuck Graham Allen, but honestly, I think this undermines anybody running down this fucking, this lane. Now, don't get me wrong, if Candace did have like a slam dunk here, and she did, you know, it'd be a different story, but this is just some weird schizophrenic allusion to him being gay, and then now your audience is supposed to run with it. I mean, maybe there's more to it out there, but anyways, came off as super catty, super gay. I guess that's where we're going to end it. I was going to go into, get into the secrets in poly market. I do need to get out of here. I think maybe tomorrow we'll do that. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I'm sorry this ended up being, you know what, I take it back. Fuck it. Let's do the poly market one. Yeah, let's do poly market. Here is a clip that's going to kind of recap it. Actually, no, I'm going back and forth. I got to talk to you guys in chat. Let's see where we're at after we talk the chat. Let's see how much you guys got to say before I agree to all that. But yeah, anyways, let's go in the chat. Let's check in on you beautiful people. Sham33 says Charlie was a defender of Israel. Why would they kill him? Because he was the closest to the edge of their circle. How is this not obvious? Yeah, it's basically what I said. Heard this take many places. Let me see. Tom says Candace is controlled op. She just doesn't realize. I have a feeling her husband is her handler and is a dumb end. She can't see through it. Maybe. I'm open to that as well. I'm also open to she's fully in on it. Who knows? Aggressively says influencers seem to be the easiest to influence. Ain't that the truth? Mustache says I saw something that Candace was following a local Church of Satan social media account. I don't know. That'd be interesting if so. Good morning, Dylan Farnham says I got a real tight rabbit hole right here for you. Oh, hey there, bud. Give me a little DM and maybe for a few dineros you can get some moose knuckle photos. That's a callback, people. All right, what's we got? Almost caught up in the chat. Just you guys chatting back and forth. Sorry, I normally linger in the chat a little bit more, but I wanted to go ahead and dig into. I wanted to finish our poly market dig today. So, or maybe we could break it up into two. Nah, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's see. I do have a clip for you guys that's going to recap all of this. No, fuck it. I'm not going to try to squeeze this in last minute. No, I'm not going to try to hastily force out a dump. You don't want to do that. That's how you rupture something. So we will save this for tomorrow. We'll do the history of poly market. I almost did it, but then I realized I have a longer clip that's kind of recapping all of this, but I think I need to give periodic commentary so I don't get a copyright strike. So it's probably going to take a while. So with that, pop in tomorrow. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't dig into it, although I lied and said that on Thursday. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be back Friday or Monday, and I left you all. I had things to do. I was spending time with the family, doing some things. But with that, guys, let's go ahead and get out of here. For those who want to support what I'm doing, leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. You can find the show on YouTube, Rumble, all the major audio podcatchers, and Twitter as well. On Twitter, that's at TarragangJose. There, I usually retweet a lot of the stuff I cover on here. If it's on Twitter, it also gives you the opportunity to be able to tag me and stuff if you want to contribute to producing the show. Everywhere else, so that's at TarragangJose. Everywhere else, it's the No Way Jose podcast. Just search for No Way Jose. And if you want to support the show the best way you can do that with money over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. That gives you access to early episodes. Try to keep out 1 to 2 of those behind the paywall at any given time. Keep 3 to 4 of them. I try to do 1 to 2 every week to keep 3 to 4 behind the paywall at any given time. Give you guys access to ad-free RSS feed, the Telegram, the pre-show, the post-show, and video calls, and me and Austin's weekly live call-in show, which goes out on Tuesdays today, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So be in there, hang out, be in there in the live chat, call in. If you're a patron, you can come in and video call in the second half. You also get your own little private chat. And if you want to support the show in the best way you can do that with money over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020, the lowest level. Oh, I'm retarded. I just repeated myself. I meant to say the sponsors. The sponsors are read off area, but that's the highest level of the Patreon. My previous ghost and Tower Gang, at Learn Toad, also at BreakIDs, at ZWCK, at _Even Tim Tell, at John People, Big Fan of the show, Torn May, at Wayne Taggers, One Cover Kids, No Free Lunch, Jack, Mark Vestibule, Jacob Winograd, the Biblical Aaron Picard, Jacob Winograd of the Biblical Anarchy Podcast, and John Black, ya beautiful bastard. Made sure to enunciate there. With that, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this outro. This one is a classic. Anything with old God, what does it mean names today? I can't think of his names. Norm Macdonald. Anything with Norm Macdonald is a classic. I don't need to tell you guys that. You guys are beautiful people. You get that. We'll see you guys tonight, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And for you exclusive dumpers, we'll force the rest out tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Goodwill Smith. How'd that one go?
I was just, it's,
on Mad TV, they would often combine two things.
I pitched a thing called
Goodwill Smith.
Goodwill Smith.
All right.
He worked at an all-black college, and the problem on the blackboard that no one could solve was 2 + 2. Then Will Smith plays a janitor who puts a 4, and they go, who solved that? It took the professors 8 years to figure this one out. They rejected it. They said it was like racist.
Goodwill Smith.